I'm not teaching, I'm publicly learning. But hi and welcome to Learning for the Life in UK test, part 464, while doing medial plane training. And if you participate in the medial plane training, that is the diagonal risk. So the first thing we want to do is to find out if James VI was Protestant. Okay. To her Protestant son, James VI of Scotland. Mary, Queen of Scots, she was Catholic. Both Marys were Catholic. Bloody Mary and Mary, Queen of Scots, Mary Stuart. Mary, Queen of Scots is Mary Stuart. And her son, James VI, was Protestant. Okay, we have Elizabeth I Protestant, James VI Protestant, Charles I Protestant, Charles II Protestant, James II Catholic. And then again Mary and William Protestant. And from then on always Protestant. Okay, now we have it clear because we already prepared in the last videos our little presentation about James II. Now, it's already prepared, so we can directly start shooting. I don't know if I know it all completely still, but we're just going to try it 2 or 3 times. If it doesn't work, we have time for it. So, I have the first camera running for this learning and fitness video, and then I have the second one, which I'm going to start now. And there, I'm trying to present all of it we know to James II. We have it all perfectly together, so people can just look for that video and then get it on. In the mid-17th century, England was already for quite some time Protestantic. Elizabeth I was Protestantic, and also James VI, and also Charles I and Charles II. Now, in 1685, Charles II died, and he had no legitimate children. So his brother, James II, became king, and James II was Catholic. His brother, so Charles II, was Protestant, but now James II was a Catholic. And now there was a Catholic again on the throne in England. He had 2 daughters, both were Protestant. So James II was a Catholic, but his 2 daughters were firmly Protestant. And the people thought the next king or queen gonna be a Protestant. But then his wife got a son, and now people were thinking the next king might be a Catholic. So, and Mary was the oldest daughter of James II. So James II had 2 children, both Protestantistic, and the oldest one was Mary. And Mary was married to William of Orange, the king or the ruler of the Netherlands. Both Protestantistic. So the oldest child of the Catholic James II was Protestantistic, and also the husband of Mary was Protestant. And now the people invited William of Orange, the ruler of the Netherlands, into England to get onto the throne, together with his wife, who was a Protestant Mary. And it happened. That is the Glorious Revolution. So without any fighting, William of Orange, the ruler of the Netherlands, got into England, and he then started to rule together with his wife, Mary, England. And also Scotland, Wales, and Ireland. James II, he fled the country to Europe. Now he tried to regain the throne, and with the help of the French army, he invaded Ireland. But in the Battle of Culloden, he was defeated. In the Battle of Boyne, no less. What was it? It was the Battle of Boyne. How can we remember that? BC, the alphabet. So it was first the Battle of Boyne, then 100 years later, Bonnie Prince Charlie, it was the Battle of Culloden. Okay, we have time for at least 1 more try. No, I think even 2. In the year 1685, the United Kingdom, it was not the United Kingdom, in the year 1685, Britain was already for a long time ruled by a Protestantistic, I can't pronounce that word, Protestantistic. I actually never heard anyone using that word before, but I want to use it instead of Protestant. In the year 1685, Britain was already ruled for a long time by a Protestant monarch. Now, for example, Elizabeth I. Why, for example? In the year 1685, Britain was ruled successively for a long time by Protestantistic monarchs. For example, Elizabeth I, James VI, Charles I, Charles II. Now in the year 1685, Charles II died, and he had no legitimate children. So they were all Protestantistic, the previous monarchs. Charles II was Protestantistic, but now his brother got onto the throne because Charles II had no children, no legitimate children. And his brother, James II, was a Catholic. So after all this time and these different monarchs of Protestants on the throne, there was suddenly a Catholic king on the throne. The people thought the next monarch will be a Protestant because the two children, the oldest one, Mary, of James II, were Protestantistic. So James II, the Catholic king now, in 1685, had two children, Mary, one of them, and they both were Protestants. Mary was married to William of Orange, the ruler of the Netherlands, who was also Protestant. So James II had an oldest daughter, Mary, a Protestant, who was married to a Protestant, the ruler of the Netherlands. Suddenly, the wife of James II got a son. And now the people thought, what if that son comes onto the throne? That might be a Catholic. And so they decided to invite in William of Orange, the ruler of the Netherlands, to invade Britain. And that happened without any resistance. That is the Glorious Revolution. No fighting happened in England. William of Orange, the Protestantistic ruler of the Netherlands, invaded without any fighting England, and he then started together the ruling with his wife Mary, the oldest Protestantistic daughter of James II. James II fled to Europe. James II wanted the throne back. So he invaded with help of the French army Ireland. But in the Battle of Boyne, they were defeated, and he fled back to France. In Scotland there was also an uprising, but that was in the Battle of Killiecrankie also defeated. And the Scottish clans, they wanted also James II on the throne. They had to make an oath onto William on the throne, And there were, for example, the MacDonalds of Glenorchy, they didn't want to take the oath and they were massacred. And the remembrance of this massacre means that there are still for quite some time people wanting James back onto the throne. And they were called the Jacobites. And actually, a century later, there was the grandson of James II, his name Charles Edward Stuart, or Bonnie Prince Charlie. And there was now an uprising in Scotland again to get this Bonnie Prince Charlie, the grandson of James II, onto the throne. But that was in the Battle of Culloden defeated, this uprising, and the clans were dissolved, basically. So the chieftains of the clans became landlords, and the clansmen became tenants, and they had to pay to have the land. And also the Highland clearance started, and many of these crofts, these smaller farms, were bundled together to make grazing areas, to make space for large flocks of sheep and cattle. And that is all according to the Life in the UK Test Handbook, multiple pages, for example, 30 and 31. Yes, actually 30 and 31. And then more. What was I else? Scottish people left for North America, and evictions became very common. Evictions became very common. We will not forget that evictions become very common. We don't know what evictions are, but they became very common. Now, we're going to start with the sport. I'm going to stop the camera. I think that is a nice video, which we will publish somewhere else. James II also will be the title, and people can then watch a 2-minute video about James II altogether. We will do now the medial plane training. If you just hear it for the Bill of Rights or so, then you can go directly to the next part. I said it already 3 parts ago. You can go to the next part for the Bill of Rights. And here we will do the medial plane training. If you participate in that is at your own risk. How do we start? We don't need a warm-up. Let's start without a warm-up. Let's start a bit. Let's try a different warm-up. Leg up, breathe in. And breathe out, bring the leg to the side. Breathe again in. Out the leg into the middle. And out and down. The other leg, the leg up. Breathe out the leg to the side. Breathe again in the middle, and down. We're going to do the chunky glide. Legs apart, we're breathing in and coming down. And out. Again in. And out. And again in. And out. Breathe in and cross the legs. And out. First exercise, leg up. Right angle with the leg, flex foot, even lined hips, tall up with the back, and press from the top against the knee. You can do this with a little force, a little bit more, also a lot of force, but have a little bend in the elbow and don't overdo it. And we change. The other leg up, same setup, and we're pressing from the top. So, right angle with the leg, flex foot, even lined hips, tall up with the back. One time I said something, I wasn't sure if it was right. Also the last video, the better color didn't point. And next exercise. The other leg up, same setup. Now we're pressing from the inside. Right angle with the leg, flexed foot, even aligned hips, tall up with the back, a little bend in the elbow. And the other leg up. Right angle with the leg, flex foot, even hips, tall up with the back, and pressing out from the inside, tall up with the back, a little bend in the elbow. Next exercise. Leg up. And we're pressing with the knee up and to the side. Up to the side. The knee presses up and to the side. Even aligned hips, tall up the back, and the knee of the leg presses up and to the side. And on the other side, leg up, and the knee presses up and to the side. A few more. Last exercise, the heavy swing door. Leg up, right angle with the leg, flex foot, even aligned hips, tall up with the back. Now we're pressing from the outside against the knee. And we're opening slowly. And we're closing again slowly. Now this time we're not going to do it by rounds, we're just going to do it for 1 minute, so 15 seconds for first time, so 4 rounds. So open, keep pressing all that. And closing. Thirty seconds. Third time. And closing. And last time. And closing. The other leg up, right angle with the leg, flex foot, even lined hips, tall up with the back, and press forward for the outside, bend in the elbow, and we're opening slowly. And we're closing again slowly. So I'm going to remember it with Boyne first, then colored BC. In alphabetical, B, then C. Or was really we want to do about Charles II? Maybe it was actually Charles II, because did we tell that all of the restoration? Or did we just make about the restoration? I confused it. So either about Charles II or James II we wanted to do one video completely. Now we did one about James II and we're just gonna continue with the next part. I don't know, 3 or 4 times, but it was a minute. So we're closing exercise, letting the legs standing wide apart, we're breathing in and going down. And out. Again in. And out. in and out. Last round, breathe in. Breathe in and cross the legs. And out. This is it. I thank you very much, and until next time.